Good afternoon. Okay, let me see here if I am live. I see myself. That's always a good sign with Facebook Lives. Okay. So let's talk about the topic at hand. So today, over the last week or so, I've been moving you through these like 8 episodes essentially of creating wealth and wonder in your own life and in your business for the year to come. And the last few sessions have been very much about, I think I had my scale method that talked a lot about steps, but overall it was very energetically based. So for the last few episodes, I've been talking about the mindset, the energy, how to essentially step in the right energy to create what we want. Today, what I'm going to share with you is very strategic. I'm literally going to walk you through the 5 steps that I have used and I teach my clients to fill our programs, to enroll clients with ease. And hopefully you'll be able to take everything I've taught you this far in terms of really embodying sovereignty and being a lighthouse, claiming your own innate power and your own gifts, and use these strategy to then actually really start to be able to serve. Because let's be honest, most of us do this because we have a deep desire to serve, and we know that we're here to have a big impact on the world, as well as make a really good living doing what we love. So the energetic is important. You will hear me say over and over and over that energy and strategy are the 2 wings of a bird. You need both to take off. You need both to soar. You need both to fly and go the long way. I've done a lot of energy thus far. I'm going to do some strategy today. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ilsa Contier. I am the founder of the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, where we essentially marry step-by-step strategy with deep energetic work to help conscious entrepreneurs, change makers, to fill their programs with ease, to grow and expand their business effortlessly, and to do it in a way that is super aligned to them, that feels good, that feels right, in integrity, in authenticity, and that essentially allows them to actually have a beautiful life and not feel like they're doing things they don't want to do, like doing huge and draining launches or being on social media all day long, that kind of stuff. So I'm really glad you're here. At any point you see this, say hi to me. And let me know where you're from. It's beautiful today. I am in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. At the end of this training, I'm going to make an invitation to you, put forth an invitation for you to join the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. So I'm going to be opening a few spaces, 3 to 5 spaces for January enrollment. So if you know that 2022 is your breakthrough year and you're ready to expand, to grow, to enroll clients with a lot more ease, a lot more free time, a lot more alignment, and to create some abundance for yourself in the year coming, and you would like to do that with us in a very intimate space at the price of 2021 before the price goes up in January, then that invitation will be for you. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. The strategy. So what I'm going to give you today are literally step-by-step strategy to essentially grow your audience and enroll clients. Now, caveat, before you do this, you do need to have an offer. Before you can do these strategies, these steps successfully, you need to have a clear sense of who your ideal client is. You need to have a sense of what the problem, the struggles that they have and that you solve, and what is it that they desire and value most. And you need to have an offer, some kind of irresistible offer that is not only aligned with you and your gifts and your soul, but also aligned with your ideal client and what your ideal client wants most in the world. If you don't have these things in place, then you won't know what to sell and you won't know where to look to enroll clients. You'll end up enrolling the wrong kind of clients. So that's the first thing. Like, you obviously need that. Almost every business training will cover that. I cover that in my program, even though my program is really about step-by-step marketing and the energy of being empowered and being visible. I also covered all these things: your niche, your ideal client, creating an offer, your pricing, all of those things, because you need them to essentially have a business that is sustainable. So let's talk about step one in this strategy. Once you have all those things I just mentioned in place, then you're ready to essentially grow your audience. Step one is lead generation. Lead generation is, you essentially have a simple system in place where you can meet, engage, and bring people into your world. Obviously, lead generation is about your ideal clients. You don't want everyone and anyone coming into your world. You want the people who are going to want to work with you, who are going to benefit most from the content you create. Lead generation, in many ways, is the lifeblood of your business. It is what will allow you to, over time, continue to grow and expand. Now, I want to say this first. A lot of people that I talk to will say, my audience doesn't have my ideal clients. There's no one in my audience that is an ideal client for me. Usually, that honestly is BS. You absolutely have ideal clients in your current audience. So you definitely don't want to dismiss your current audience. You want to nurture them. You want to speak to them. You want to, again, embody that sovereignty, embody your gift, embody your power, and share from that place, knowing and trusting inwardly that there are people in your current audience who either want what you have to offer or know someone who needs what you have to offer. So that's the first step. The other is then, for us to have a consistently growing business and a sustainable business, we do need to bring in new people regularly who will see what we have to offer. We can't just rely on our current audience. So the way lead generation usually has three levels. The best level is flow. That means that you've got new leads coming in. You've got a flow of new leads coming in daily, weekly, into your world, and they get to see your offer. That is where we all want to end up. Where a lot of us find ourselves is what I call the trickle. It's almost like having the faucet turned on, but almost barely, so you got little drops that fall in. So with the trickle, you get new leads here and there, maybe through referrals, maybe people just happen on a live on a content, or somebody tags them on something you do. And so little by little, you end up with new leads, but it's not enough to grow and to sustain you. And then where we don't want to be, and where we can be when we're just starting out, is in the shut off zone. Like, literally your faucet is totally turned off. You essentially have no to barely any leads, and nothing can be maintained, nothing can be grown when you're at that place. So you want to essentially figure out how to have a flow of new leads coming in every week, every month, sometimes every day, if you've got the right process in place. Now, let me tell you a little bit how to do that. And at the end of this live, when I go through the 5 steps, I'm actually going to work you through an entire step-by-step client journey that will show you exactly how the entire journey from I don't know this person to they're buying from me. And I think that's going to be really helpful for you to kind of see the process. So Facebook has provided us with a really great place to meet ideal clients. Facebook groups. So this is why I said to you at the earlier of this live, you definitely need to know who your ideal clients are, and you need to have a sense of what they're struggling with and what they want, because Facebook groups are going to help you find those people. So what you want to do, and in my Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, I offer a number of different strategies on how to find the groups, how to find the ideal client in there. But I'm going to give you the most basic aspect of it. When you find a group that you know has your ideal client, so if you're working, I don't know, if you're working with people who struggle with chronic pain, then you want to find a Facebook group that has on chronic pain and easing chronic pain. If you work with people like me who are healers and change makers, then you want to find, soulful type entrepreneurs group. If you work with people who are wanting to create their lives and wanting to move past blocks, then you want to find groups that are all about energy work, energy healing, maybe manifestation group, these kind of things where your ideal client are likely to be hanging out in. When you find these groups, you want to go in there and you want to look for people, and don't overcomplicate it. This is actually super easy. Lead gen is almost the simplest aspect. So many people feel like that's the hardest thing for them. They don't have new people coming into their world. But when you have the right strategy and you're not overcomplicating, it's actually the easiest thing in the entire process that I'm teaching you today. So you find these groups that have your ideal client, and what you're looking for is you're looking people who are actively engaged in there. You're looking for either people who are putting comments on other people's posts. You're looking for people who are putting actual posts in there. And you're also looking, maybe like if you go in the members area of each group, you will see people who have things in common with you, and you will see people who are new to the group. What's great about people who are new to the group is that lets you know that they're actively seeking a solution or support now, because they joined this group over the last week or two. So this is an active thing for them. You don't particularly want to friend request people who have been in a group for 2 years and are never posting in there, because it might not be applicable or accurate or alive for them. But once you have your group, you want to simply start friend requesting people that feel aligned to you, that feel aligned with your ideal client, that feel aligned with what you're offering. And you will know they feel aligned mostly because they are in that group and because they're active or they just joined recently. So that's the simplest step. There's other ways to get people in those groups to raise their hands so that you're really targeting the right people to friend request. But I can't go into this. That's what I go into this in my paid program. I don't have time to go into this here. If you skip this step, so even though it's the easiest step, it is a step that a lot of people will skip, thinking that just creating content will do the trick. It does not do the trick. You have to make sure that you're growing your audience on a regular basis, especially because I'm going to give you a little trick here. Facebook will actually start showing your stuff automatically a lot more to new people. So when you have new friends on your personal page, those new friends for about a week or so will start seeing your things a whole lot. If you have a list of friends and those friends are not engaging with you, then slowly they will stop seeing what you're offering. They will stop seeing your content, which is why bringing in, hey, Chloe. So for you, Chloe is an amazing book coach, but it's more than that. She actually talks about story medicine and helps people transform their lives through writing their story and impacting the world with their story. I hope I'm doing justice to what you do. But for you, Chloe, I think I might go in a lot of the book writing or in a lot of healing groups where people want healing. You could talk in there about, hey, has anybody ever wanted to write a book and to use story, or has anybody used their story or their mess to bless others? Entrepreneur groups, I think, could be a good place for you. People want to have an amazing impact on the world. So you could go in there and talk about the value of our story, the value of the book for impacting the world. I think that for you, any kind of group around writing, journaling, writing, book writing, um, book editing, like any of the book world, there's going to be people in there who are your ideal client, who for them writing a book is a healing process. For them writing a book is a way to impact and transform the world, which is what you do. So just remember that essentially bringing in new people will help you expand your reach and will help you expand who sees your message. The more people you talk to, the more people will actually start seeing what you have to offer. Step 2 in my 5-step strategy is connect and converse. So once you have those new leads in, and again, I'm going to take you through a step-by-step process at the end. I'm going to show you exactly what it looks like. But you're friend requesting a few people. Usually about half of the people you friend request will accept your friend request. They'll check you out, which is why, by the way, you want to have a public personal profile and you want to put some content on your personal profile. My pleasure, Chloe. So when you friend request somebody, and by the way, no more than 10 friend requests a day. You don't want Facebook to feel like you're spamming people. About half of the people you friend request will say yes to you. They'll start seeing your content with regularity. The first thing I tell my clients is when somebody accepts your friend request, you want to send a friendly message. This isn't a pitch. This isn't a buy my stuff. This isn't a join my group. This is literally, thanks for accepting my friend request. I'm so excited we're connected. I love what you're doing in the world, or I love this post, or I love this, or I love your picture. Something personal and something that says you're just happy to be connected. And you want to make it genuine. You want to make it personal. But you do not want to make it salesy or pitchy. Like that's the quickest way to get somebody to just unfriend you and not respond to you and to lose their trust before you've actually had an opportunity to gain it. So you want to reach out and essentially think of it this way. These are people. Your job is to fall in love with really meeting people, getting to know a little bit about them, sharing a little bit about you, seeing what you have in common, seeing how you can support each other on this crazy journey that is life. Maybe this person might be a client, but maybe they could just be a friend. They could be a collaborator. They could be a referral source, or they could be a referral source for you. They might have something that you don't offer that you can offer your people in your world. Look at this as networking. Look at this as just simply building your community, because marketing is connecting. Marketing is building community, especially post-COVID. I talked a little bit about this already in I think it was maybe episode 2, my scale process. So what you're doing here is strategic. On one end, you are building and initiating that initial connection. What you're also doing is you're letting Facebook know that you must actually really know this person because you're interacting with them in a conversation after becoming friends. What Facebook will do when they see that is they're more likely to show your content to them and to show their content to you and essentially help you be in that connection. Facebook is about connection. So you want to open the lines of communication with this person and you want to start building trust. And you want to have a little bit enough of a conversation and a couple back and forth, and no selling. Like what you want this person to feel is like you're a real person. You're a real genuine person and you're not just interested in them as a client or as a way to make money. That is the fastest way to lose people's trust. This phase, by the way, can also be a great phase for client research. So as you're having this conversation, this back and forth with this person, then essentially you can start to figure out what is it they need, what is it they want, what have they found helpful in the past, what have they not found helpful in the past, where are they still struggling, what's working, what hasn't worked. And that allows you to start essentially creating content and shifting your offers to really provide what your ideal clients need and will resonate and what will resonate with them. At the end phase of this connect and converse phase, you want to have a process in place to essentially keep track of the people you're having an interaction with. And it doesn't have to be really complicated. You could literally have a list of people who have responded back when you've connected with them. About only half, usually, about people you say hi to will say hi back. Keep track of them. Keep track that they responded back, that maybe you had a couple back and forth. You might put their name on a Google form or on a Word document somewhere, like put their name, and next to them, maybe rate on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being, hey, they said thank you, but never responded back, and you didn't have any interactions with them. And 10 might be, this person is super friendly. I love them. I love interacting with them. I feel like we're a really good match. That will give you a sense of who you want to reach back out, who you want to stay in contact with. All right, so that's step 2, and it's super important, especially post-COVID. Step 3 is your content. And a lot of people put all their energy on step 3 and dismiss everything else. And then they wonder why they're not getting the results they want. Because especially after COVID, just creating content, just nurturing and building authority with your audience is not enough. The reason it's not enough is, 1, because it used to be that people would need to see 4 or 5 or 7 things of you to really know who you were and to build trust and authority. And now that number has like doubled or tripled. So people need to literally see 20 pieces of content from you before they actually register who you are, what you're about, what you do, partially because Facebook is inundated since COVID of people actually putting content out there. So they're not showing your content all the time. They're showing literally 1 piece of content per person here and there. Unless somebody starts really interacting with your content and loving it every time and answering every time, they're really not going to see that much of your content. So you want to have a different way to build connection with them, to build authority, to build trust with them than just content. Now, I'm not saying that content's not important. I would say every person I get on a call with has watched my lives, has seen my content. It is rare, though, that they're the one who reach out to me from a piece of content. Usually, probably 80% of the time, I reached out to them. I wished them happy birthday. I said thank you to them because they posted something or commented on something I posted. I will interact with them, and then that will fuel the conversation. That the conversation will start flowing from there and will lead to a call. Now, there's 6 different types of content, and I can't go into depth of that. That could be like multiple lives on their own. But essentially, your content is there to do 3 things. It's there to make sure people know that you're a real person and they can relate to you and they like you. So you don't want to just post content that's work related. You want to post your life. You want to post your behind the scene. You want to give people a sense of who you are beyond work, beyond your gifts, beyond what you do. 2, your content is there to build trust. To build trust in terms of know who you are, your character, what you value. So there's literally 3 things people need to know. They need to know who you are in your day-to-day life. Who are you as a human? Can they relate to you? Can you understand their pain? Who are you at a deeper level? What's your character about? What's your integrity? What are your values? What are been your big life lessons? And then 3, they need to know who you are and be able to build authority and trust you in terms of the work you do. So you want to make sure that your content touch on all 3 of these layers, essentially. Your content will move somebody from literally not knowing you very much to knowing you on all those levels. They'll know who you are as a person, and they'll know if they like you, if they can relate to you. They'll know who you are at your depth in your character, and they'll know who you are in your work and the essentially the results you create for your clients and the kind of change and transformation you provide for your clients. You need to have all 3 of those. To essentially get people through that whole journey of connecting with you and getting to a point of enrolling or working with you. So, step 2 is creating that conversation and that initial connection with the person. That's super important, because what that means is when they see your live or they see a piece of comment in their feed, they'll know who you are. They're more likely to stop. They're more likely to pay attention. But it's not quite enough for them to get a sense of your expertise and who you really are. That's where your content comes in. That marriage of that connection and your nurturing and you're building authority through your content is magic. So you're doing this, that's step 3. You're actually creating consistent content that shares who you are as a human being as well as an expert in your field. Number 4, step 4 is follow up and convert. So, and again, I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like in a few minutes when I take you through the step-by-step journey. The follow-up I mentioned in earlier. When you have a list of the people you've had an interaction with that have been friendly, that have been receptive, that feel like there's an alignment, either as a collaborator, as a potential client, as a referral source, you want to have something in place to kind of reach out to them or connect with them regularly. I literally have, I think in my messages, in my notes, a list of people that I really enjoyed interacting with. And I will every so often move through that list. And the last time, I always put the date of when was the last time I reached out to them. I try to reach out to people if I haven't had any ongoing interaction since then, at least every 6 weeks or so, maybe 4 weeks, especially if I've got a special offer coming up. I want these people to remember who I am. I want to reignite the conversation. I want to reconnect essentially and see what they've been up to and where they're at this point. I don't know if you've ever heard this, but the fortune is in the follow-up. Oftentimes, it will take people engaging with us quite a few times for them to feel ready to work with us. It is very rare that somebody will connect with you, you'll friend request them, they'll accept it, they'll see a couple pieces of content, and they'll be ready to buy within a few days. It can happen, but it's rare. Usually, you're building trust over time, and you're building that connection and that sense from that person that you really care about them and you care about their success. You're building that over time. So follow-up looks a few different ways. You can follow up, again, by looking at your list and reaching out to people and saying, hey, we haven't connected in a while, how you doing? You can follow up with people by essentially connecting to people who are engaging with your content. So if somebody, you put a piece of content down there and somebody writes an insightful comment, you follow up with them. Hey, I love that content. What's going on with you? What brought that on? Can I support you? Can I help you in some way? You essentially use their comment on your content to start a conversation with them. And then the last phase is convert. So when you've done your 4 steps, right, you've essentially brought them into your audience, into your world. You've started a connection and a conversation with them. You have essentially nurtured them and build authority over time with very specific type of content, both content that lets them know who you are as a human being, as well as who you are as an expert in your field and that you can support them. And you have followed up with them. You have had that ongoing connection with them. then oftentimes the conversion is actually pretty easy. Like, a lot of people talk about how hard it is to sell. If you've done everything right, then you literally have done 90% of the selling. At that point, you want to get people on a call usually, although some people will just buy from an opt-in page if they've had enough interaction with you. They don't need to get on a call with you. They know that you're their person. But if they need to get on a call, oftentimes that call doesn't need to be very long. It can be brief. It's a way for you to answer their question. It's a way for you to finalize that last little piece of building connection, building trust, and building that authority. You can clearly show what the results and the transformation they can expect when they work with you. That last call is a way of helping them create their vision and essentially feel into what's possible for them with your support. It's a way of addressing any kind of objection. But again, objection in some ways rarely show up if you've done the last 4 steps correctly. And it's a way of essentially making it clear to people the heavy cost of inaction. For a lot of people, they know they need help. They know they want to create something different, but they're stuck in inaction because it never feels like exactly the right time. It's never completely, it's not convenient. Spending money, doing the work is never convenient. So your job in that last call is to essentially help them connect to their vision and to what's possible for them. Help them see the cost of inaction. And then the last piece is really help them step into an empowered version of themselves. Help them make the decision to work with you or not from the end, from what they want to see, and from a place of sovereignty and empowerment rather than lack. If they make the decision to work with you, to whether or not they want to work with you from the place where they're currently at, they're usually feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling stuck, they're feeling blocked. There's nothing in this. It's all scarcity, it's all doubt, it's all overwhelmed. There's nothing in here that's going to lead them to want to work with you because they don't feel like they have the ability to actually change. What you want to do is you want to help them really get a felt sense for what they're wanting to create and who they would be, who they will be, who they are, who that future version of them is, and ask them to make a decision from that place, from that end, from that achievement and that sense of having achieved what they seek. Because from that place of empowerment, they're going to feel like they can do the work. They're going to feel like it's possible for them. They're going to feel like they can figure out how to make the money or find the money. Oftentimes, when somebody's been really following you and they know you're for them and they still say no to working with you, is because they're deciding from the place of scarcity where they're stuck at right now. And so they feel too overwhelmed to do the work. They don't feel like they have the capacity to come up with the money if it's not already in the bank. Essentially, they're so blocked creatively and they have such tunnel vision that they don't see it as a possibility for them. That last call, that conversion call, is about you helping them taste the state, the field of infinite possibility, and open their creativity and make a decision from a place of empowerment. And if you can do that, then you should have a 90% conversion rate, especially if you've been in contact with them over time. So now let me move you through that step-by-step process. I'm going to tell you exactly what that looks like as an example. So this is the example. Step 1, you go in a group where your ideal clients hang out. You see a post or a comment from Pat. Pat could be Patrick, could be Patricia, doesn't matter. And you decide based on that comment, based on that post, based on what you're seeing, that Pat is your kind of person. Pat is either a potential client, or it could be a collaborator, could be a referral source, maybe even potentially a friend, but she or he is your type of person and you want to get to know them better. What you're going to do next is you're going to send Pat a friend request. Now let's, for the sake of this example, let's say that Pat accepts your friend request. So first, you find them in a group, you friend request them, they accept your friend request. Then you send Pat a really nice, friendly, personal message, something that says, hey, I'm so glad we connected. We're in this group together. I saw this post you made about this. I thought it was super insightful. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you more. How's your year treated you so far? How's the month treated you so far? Something that's personal, that's super friendly, that maybe ask a question for them to interact back with you and is in no way, shape, or form salesy or pitchy. From this point forward, you and Pat exchange a few messages. 2, 3, 4. You essentially let Pat know a little more about who you are. Pat lets you know a little bit more about who they are. And then depending how that goes, either it just ends there and you're just happy to be connected, or maybe it could even lead to a connection call, which is not a sales call. It's just a place for us to chat for 15, 20, 30 minutes and connect on a more intimate level. But at that point, between this back and forth, Pat knows who you are. When Pat sees you in her or his feed, they know exactly who you are, which is the primary aspect of that connection piece and that conversation piece. You want people to know who you are. How many of you, I'm including myself, I've got 3,000 friends on my personal Facebook page. I probably know 10% of these people. I know who they are, I kind of know what they do, maybe where even. How many of the people on your personal, on your personal friends list on Facebook do you actually know? Especially if you're using it to grow your business, probably not a whole lot of them. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that any new friend that comes in knows who you are. So you've exchanged a few messages. You might even have gone on a connection call with Pat. And at this point, Pat starts seeing your content. He knows who you are. He sees content come through the feed that you're putting out and starts to essentially respond, comment, put little hearts, little thumbs up, essentially interact with your content. At some point, you might put out a free offer. Maybe you are creating an event of some sort. Maybe you've got a freebie of some sort and you're putting out on your post, hey, I've got this XYZ available, who wants it? And Pat raises his or her hand because they know you, they've interacted with you, they've enjoyed your content. Why the hell not? Why should they not want to join one of your free events or low-cost events or one of your freebies and essentially get something more? So when Pat raises his or her hand, you reach out to them. It's an opportunity to reconnect again. Hey, so glad you said you wanted this. Here's the link. Here's the information. So excited to have you enjoy this. And it's a way of touching base. What happens at that point is that Pat is now either on your email list and or your Facebook group. So now Pat is in multiple places for you to connect with him or her. So it's new points of connection. So even if Pat doesn't see something in the feed because Facebook doesn't show him or her the post, suddenly she's more likely or he's more likely to see it in an email that you're going to send your email list or in the group that she became a member of. At that point, he starts seeing your offers. Maybe the event that you did led to an offer. Maybe the freebie that you offered has a direct call to action. And now you've been in Pat's world over and over and over. She's seeing your emails. He's seeing your posts in your group, in your personal profile, the call to actions, the invitations, are flowing, and Pat is starting to consider whether or not you might not be exactly what they need. When you get to that point, two things are going to happen. First thing that's going to happen, or one of the two things that's going to happen, is you're going to reach out to Pat and you're going to invite him or her to join, to either get on a call or to join your program. And it might look as simple as like, hey, Pat, you and I have been connecting. You've checked out my free things. You comment on my post. I feel like this offer that I have would be perfect for you. Are you interested in talking about it and seeing if it's the right fit for you? Would you like to know more? How does that sound? You're essentially taking the initiative of reaching out to somebody that you feel you've built trust and authority with, and essentially inviting them. Every person in my Sovereign Entrepreneur program is there because I did that with them, except for, I think, one person who came out to me out of nowhere that I had never met and essentially said she wanted to find out more about my program. But everybody else was somebody that I had been interacting with, and I had had them on my list as somebody I would love to work with. And when my program opened, I reached out to them and said, hey, we've been connecting. I feel like I know what you need. I feel like this program was literally designed for you. I would love to work with you. Are you interested at all? Are you considering it in any way? Considering it in any other way? Can I answer any questions? So that's one way that that next step happens, is you reach out to them and invite them directly to work with you. The next is, after having been in contact with you, having seen your content over and over, having had a couple back and forth with you, they see an offer, they're starting to consider it, it's weaving its way into them, and they reach out to you and say, hey, Ilse, I'd like to talk to you more about this offer. I feel like that could really support me. And then you get on a call, and now we're back to that conversion piece, that call. And that's the whole process. But as you can see, it is a process. It takes interacting with people kind of over and over and over, and having the right kind of content out there so that they get to really get to know you on so many levels, and so that they're fully comfortable moving forward to work with you. When you do that, as stated, you almost don't need to be a good salesperson. You've done the whole job before they even get on a call with you. And then the last piece is serve and deliver. So once you've done all of that, then the last piece, step 5, is actually serve and deliver. You need to have an offer that takes them through the whole journey of transformation, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's group, whether it's a combination. This offer needs to be irresistible to them. It needs to nourish you and give them and get them results. It needs to be designed in a way that's sustainable for you, and you're going to be able to grow, and you're going to be excited to enroll clients. I have found that a lot of my clients who are healer, they're soulful entrepreneurs, they're sensitive. They only have so much energy. And one of the things that can happen is that they essentially overgive. So they have an energetic block to enrolling more clients because they don't feel like they have the capacity or the energy to sustain it, which is why I think it's extremely important to make sure that your ideal client and your offer is really aligned with you as an energetic being, or you will sabotage the process and you will not actually move through those steps because something in you doesn't actually want to enroll clients. You say you want it, you want the money, you want the impact, but your energy says, I don't know that I can. So you want to make sure that your offer is so aligned and is so essentially created with you and your ideal client in mind. It needs to nourish you and be really aligned with you, but it also needs to make sure that it nourishes your client and delivers the result it needs to deliver to your client. If you're overgiving or you're undercharging, and I'm going to talk about money, I don't think tomorrow, but maybe the day after, in a couple episodes, about how to price exactly the right way for both ourselves and our clients. But you don't want to overgive or undercharge, or you will literally sabotage the enrollment process. something in you literally unconsciously does not want more client because it's too hard or it's not enough benefits. And so you don't do the work, your energy is off, and then you never get to put your gifts out in the way that you're capable of putting your gifts out. So that's the last piece. And I often recommend to clients that you have an offer that's a little lengthier. Like 3 months is the bare minimum, but I often recommend 4 to 6 months. Partly, one, because I think it takes that much for people to transform and really anchor their transformation into their lives. And secondly, because once you've enrolled a client, you want to be able to breathe for a while. You want to be able to essentially feel like this client is in and you can relax around them and you don't have to keep looking for clients. My group program, the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, is 9 months long, partially because I want to support my clients long term. It takes 9 months to create a baby. It really takes 9 months to expand and transform our lives and our business. I also don't want to be worried about needing to put new people in the group continuously every 2 or 3 months. That would be too much pressure on me, and it would not be sustainable. Again, as I stated earlier at the beginning of this live, your responsibility is to make sure that your business is sustainable, or you will sabotage it. And then the last piece, so this is step 6, it's not in there, is the energy of client attraction. And as I stated at the beginning, I've done a lot of that in this 8-episode series. In the last 3 episodes, a lot of the last 3 episodes was about the energetic and the mindset of filling your programs. So I'm not going to talk a whole lot about it today. Just go look at those first 3 episodes if you missed them. But I will tell you that the best strategy, the best offer, coming from a place of lack, coming from a place of self-doubt, coming from a place of unworthiness or not feeling like you deserve success, will fall flat. It will not sell, and you will have to work 10 times, 100 times harder and more to make the same result or to have the same result in your business. So you want to absolutely do these steps that I went through today from a place of conviction, from a place of certainty, from a place of confidence and clarity. You want to embody that sovereignty. You want to know that your power comes from within and feel so lit up by your gifts that essentially, like, you are like a battery on the inside. You're like lit up with sharing what you have to share. You want to release all the wounds, all the blocks, all the limiting beliefs that get in the way of your own inner light, so that every strategy you use is literally turned up at the max. Because if not, it's like you're doing all these strategy, but on a scale from 1 to 10, your energy level is turned at a 1. So no one can hear you, no one can see you. It's like you've got this invisibility cloak on you. When you start turning on your own power, really claiming your power, claiming your mission, claiming your vision, claiming your excitement, your joy for sharing what you share, and releasing all the doubts, all the rules, all the limiting beliefs that keep you small, that keep you hiding out, that keep you silent. It's like you're still doing the same strategies, but the volume is turned up. And when the volume is turned up, suddenly it's like people are seeing you, people are responding, people are actually wanting to be in your field, in your energy, and all the strategies you're doing actually work with a lot more ease. So that's where I will leave you today. That's the 5-step strategy with a little extra 6 in there. As stated earlier in this live, I'm going to make an invitation to you. If you're ready to make 2023 your breakthrough year, to create a lot more abundance, a lot more impact in your life and in your business from a place of flow, of ease, of alignment, then I would love to invite you into the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy. SEA is an intimate incubator. There's essentially 10 of us in there right now. I probably will allow the group to grow to 15, 18, maybe 20 if it's really the right people, but I value intimacy. I value all of us knowing each other and supporting each other and being able to get a lot of one-on-one support. So if you know that these huge programs don't work for you, if you know that you need, like, just even energetically, you can't be in a huge group, you need something more intimate, then SEA is for you. You're going to get step-by-step organic strategies in there. You're going to get energy work in there. You're going to get mindset work in there. We have a mastermind. You're going to get all the business fundamentals, like figuring out who your ideal client is, your niche, what problem you solve, you're mastering your messaging, all the things that really like put that shine and that clarity when you're speaking to your clients so they can really understand what you do and that you're the right person for them. The price is going up in January. So if you know that this might be the right thing for you and you're ready to have a quantum leap and to really expand your impact, your work, your abundance, the money you bring in 2022, then I'm going to invite you to check it out. I have the link in the comment. You can check it out. You can message me and reach out to me and we'll hop on a call and see if it is the right fit for you or not. And you get to have all of that before the price increases. Thank you so much for today. I hope you have an amazing week and I will see you tomorrow. And I believe tomorrow I'm going to talk about how to step out of our comfort zone with ease so we can create momentum and we can keep growing, because you do not build a business by staying in your comfort zone and by staying in your safe place. You build momentum, you build a business by literally stepping into courage and finding ways to move through fear and move through discomfort with grace and with ease. So that's what we'll talk about tomorrow. Bye, guys.